Good morning, year two, and welcome to Monday's phonics lesson. Today, we're going to carry on the work that we started last week on this sound. So we'll have a look at this picture, and it's a boy, and it looks like he's not enjoying what he's doing. He's got a bowl of something in front of him, and he's trying to chew it, isn't he? So our phrase is chew the stew. Chew the stew. Now, a stew is like a meal made of meat and sauce, and it's quite nice. But he doesn't look like he's enjoying it, does he? So the first thing I want to do is just recap some of these words. So I'm going to say them, and you're going to say them back to me in their sound, and then say the full word. Okay, so the first one is new. 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 Flu. Flu. Blue. Blue. Few. Few. Crew. Crew. Newt. Newt. Screw. Screw. Drew. Drew. Grew. Grew. And stew. Sorry, stew. Stew. Well done. So this sound, as we might have remembered, is the oo sound, the oo. Now remember, these two letters, this grapheme, that's the letters that make up a sound, can make two similar but slightly different sounds, just like the split grapheme that we're going to look at tomorrow, on Wednesday. So it can make the oo sound in words like screw and crew, but it can also make the u sound in words like news and stew. Okay, so it's just a matter of remembering. If it's a u sound in your spelling that you're doing, it very well likely might be this one. Okay, so that's the u sound or the u sound. So we're going to read some green words by sounding out with the dots and dashes. So when you see the dots and dashes come up, sound out that part and then blend to read the full word. I'll go through them with you at first, but not after that. Right. Few. Chew. Crew. New. Blue. News. Screw. So next we're going to practice reading some words with more than one syllable. So that's more than one of the claps, isn't it? So let's remind ourselves how to do this. So we break it into parts, don't we? So if I have this word, I'm going to break it until I hear the first part. So I'm going to go re, and then I'm going to sound out the second part. New, renew, renew, and that means to make something new again. Okay, now let's read some more polysyllabic words. So that word is stew, And then that d suffix is sometimes ed, but sometimes d. So stewed, stewed. L, mill, dew, mildew, mildew. That's a funny word. Mildew is a type of mold, like a type of thing that grows on dirty things, and it often grows on wet baths and in bathrooms and places like that if they're not cleaned properly. So mildew, funny word. Cur, few, curfew, curfew. Does anyone know what a curfew is? A curfew is what people put in place when there's something dangerous outside and they want people to be inside by a certain time. So they put a curfew on them. And that means that they have to be at home before a certain time of the day or they get in trouble. So a curfew. Nephew, nephew. The nephew is someone might be an auntie or uncle to. And this one's a little bit trickier. Review. So that means to go through something again. Now you can see in this word, the oo sound or the u sound has got an it in it as well. It's made with an it, et, word, an IEW. Okay, but it still makes the u sound. And there are a couple of words that do that. So they just read them exactly the same as you would do with an EW word. Okay, so the rule. The EWU sound is quite often the spelling we use at the end of a syllable or word, but it's not always the case. EU can also be used in the middle of a few words where we hear it like you. So, for example, newt and news. There's not many with the U sound in the middle. Now we're going to read the green words quickly without the dots and dashes to help us. Well done. And now I'm going to mix them up and we're going to practice reading them quickly again. Are you ready? Well done, everyone. Now, next we're going to practice reading some of the tricky red words. And remember, these are words with tricky spellings. So we're going to read the word, then find the tricky part. That word is pretty. What's the tricky part in pretty? That's right, the the E, because it makes an I sound, doesn't it? We don't say pretty, we say pretty. It's this word. That's right, it's because. Because is quite a tricky word. What are the tricky parts in it? That's right, the A and the E. Because we don't hear those, do we, in that word? Children. Now, children doesn't really have any tricky parts, but it is quite a long word. It's that D and the R together that sometimes sound like a J. Children. But we do a D and a R, a D and an R. Is this word? That's right, that word is even. Even. And what's the tricky part? Well, in a way, it's the first E, isn't it? Because it makes an E sound, not an Et sound. But it's a split grapheme, isn't it? The E and the E with the V in the middle. So that's even. This one, which we should know really well. Oh, you lucky duck. Should. And we know the tricky parts in should are the O and the L, because they go with the U to make up. Now we're going to practice spelling some words. So you're going to need a pencil and some paper. So if you haven't got that, pause the video, and then when you come back, you're ready to go. Remember to use your Fred fingers to help you, and for any longer words, split them up into the syllables, the beats, the claps. Okay, off we go. Our first word is crew. Crew. The pirate ship had a very hard-working crew. Crew. Okay, let's have a look at crew. C R E W. Crew. Tick if you got that right. Remember, you can always pause the video before checking the word if you haven't quite finished. The next word is news. News. I watched the news last night and it was very interesting. News. Okay, let's have a look at how we spell news. N-E-W-S. News. News. Tick if you got that right. Write the correct spelling if you don't get it right, because then it'll help you to remember. Next one, bit trickier. This one's got more than one syllable. Remember, clap out each part. So the word is curfew. 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 Remember, curfew. That's when you have to come in early to stay safe. Curfew. Okay, curfew. So the cur part is C-U-R, and the few part, F-E-W. Curfew. C-U-R-F-E-W. Next word. The next word is chewing. Chewing. I got a packet of bubble gum and I was busy chewing it. Chewing. Okay. Chewing. Let's spell it. C-H-E-W. And then the suffix ing, I-N-G. Chewing. The next word is stewed. Stewed. We had stewed steak for tea. Stewed. Now, this word stewed, it's got that d suffix, hasn't it? The past tense. So how do we spell that at the end of stewed? Okay, stewed. Let's spell it. S-T-E-W-E-D. Stewed. Stewed. Okay, now we're going to do a red word. That word is because. Because. We had to stay inside because it was raining. Because. Okay, because. B-E-C-A-U-S-E. Because big elephants can always understand small elephants. Then the next word is even. Even. I got an even score on the game. Even. Even. E-V-E-N. Even. Okay, and our last red word is should. Should. Should I go to the park or should I play on my Xbox? Should. Okay, let's have a look at should. S-H-O-U-L-D. Should. Well done. Okay, finally, we're going to write a sentence with some of the words we've practiced. So don't forget your capital letters, your finger spaces, and your full stops. And also don't forget to keep your writing as neat as possible. Use those flicks for your joins, okay? Okay, so our sentence is, on the news, it said there should be a curfew because of a huge storm. On the news, it said there should be a curfew because of a huge storm. On the news, it said there should be a curfew because of a huge storm. My turn, your turn. On the news, it said there should be a curfew because of a huge storm. Your turn. My turn. On the news, it said there should be a curfew because of a huge storm. Your turn. One last time, my turn. On the news, it said there should be a curfew because of a huge storm. Your turn. Okay, write that sentence down. I'd like you to pause the video here so you've got time to write it, and then I'm going to go through each word. So, hopefully you've written it now. If you haven't, keep the video paused. So, on, O-N, tick for the capital O, tick for O-N spelled correctly. The, T-H-E. That a tick. News, N-E-W-S. Self a tick if you got that right. Remember, any words you spell wrong, you could write above so you remember them for next time. It, IT. Said, SAID. There, THERE. So it's a tricky word, isn't it? The ERE part is the tricky part there. Should, SHOULD. B, BE. A, capital A. Not capital A, normal A. Curfew, CURFEW. Because, BECAUSE. Of, OF. Huge. No, huge is a funny one. It does sound like it's got the oo sound in it, but it's a different one. HUGE. Quite a hard word. Well done if you got that. And storm. STORM. And then what do we need at the end? A full stop. So let's check. It was out of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. So it's out of 17. So count how much you got. And any words you weren't sure of, you can have another practice of. Well done, year 2. That's all for today. I'll see you for another phonics lesson on Wednesday. Bye.